Well, hello, this is Dr. Mark Cooper again, and today I want to talk about another stop smoking program that I have been utilizing with some success. This really is called an emotional freedom technique. Now, I want to give credit to Gary Craig, who really developed this strategy. It's not something I developed, and if you want more information on that, you can look at www.emofree.com, and he has put out a whole bunch of videos for learning, and you can look into that. But the way I've used it, I've kind of combined some of his strategies along with some self-hypnosis strategies for stop smoking. And the basic underlying understanding of how this works is that you can give yourself a positive suggestion for change, which comes more out of the hypnotic literature, and at the same time, if you tap on certain energy points on your body at the same time, it seems to resonate a lot deeper into the unconscious mind. Basically, it's kind of like acupressure, and along with giving suggestions. So the basic setup that he talks about is that you want to again say something like this: if you want to stop smoking, even though I love this cigarette, I accept myself more. So you want to, that's the phrase. Or the one I like even better is that even though, and I have people hold the cigarette and look at it, okay, even though I want this cigarette, I love myself more. So either way you want to say that. But what you're doing is beginning to set up an unconscious pattern that's hopefully that we can get it ingrained in the unconscious brain, so it helps you begin to make a decision to change from that smoking habit. And so what you do is that you tap about right here, and you say that even though I want this cigarette, and again you're holding the cigarette, you're looking at it, but then you put the cigarette down, okay, and you put the cigarette down in front of you, so you're still looking on that and looking at the cigarette, and you go, okay, even though I want this cigarette, I love myself more. And you say that 3 times, and then you go through a sequence of other tapping, and you say the same thing. And you tap right there. Then you tap on the side of your eye, and you say that, even though I want this cigarette, I love myself more. And right here at this cheekbone, even though I love this cigarette, I love myself more. And then here, okay? And frequently I'm going to add another phrase in there as well with that, and that is, even though I use this cigarette as a crutch to deal with my anxiety, I deserve better, and I love myself more. So I've found that combining different phrases like that, and you sort of need to come up with the one that seems to ring true for you. Even though I want this cigarette after every meal, I love myself more than that. Or so if you kind of analyze how you're smoking and when you're smoking and what are the stimuluses that make you want to smoke, you can use one of those first in the phrase and then change it. But then you want to go around this sequence like this, okay? And these are acupuncture points. And at the end, you want to tap on each of the fingers like this. And as you do that, you're going to do some brain activity changes, and you're going to tap this, okay, and then you're going to close your eyes, and then you're going to open your eyes, okay, and you can tap here as well, and you keep tapping, okay. And then you're going to look down to the left and then look down to the right. And you're going to circle your eyes all the way around one direction and circle your eyes the other direction. And then I like people to just hum happy birthday. About 2 phrases is all you need. And then count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're doing a mental activity. And then you stop for a second. And you look at that cigarette and see what your desire is. Now, I forgot to tell you something at first that I meant for you to do. Is when you're looking at that cigarette at the very beginning, and you put it down and you're looking at it, you kind of want to write on a scale from 0 to 10 how bad you would like to have that cigarette at that moment. And 10 is, man, you really want one really bad. And 0, you don't want it at all. So you kind of start off, if you start off making that kind of what we call, in psychology, we used to call this a standard unit of discomfort, or SUDS. In this situation, it's just a unit measure of how bad you want that cigarette. And so you'll put a number on it. Like, let's say I'm really wanting it at 10. And when I'm working with somebody to try to help them stop smoking using this technique, sometimes they come in, well, I just had one, I don't want one much. Well, you've got to kind of find a way to get them to want it more. And sometimes I've had to go get a cup of coffee and hand them a cup of coffee. Now how do you, well, I really want one then, because they're used to smoking right after coffee. Or I've had them, well, most of the time I just go out, I really want one when I get into the car. So I've actually walked them out to their vehicle, walked them out into the car, have them sit in the car for a second, and then all of a sudden, that desire for smoking starts to get active, and they really want that. So you sort of have to get if you're doing it yourself or you're having somebody do it with you, you have to kind of get the desire elevated up to that point where you're just about to break over and smoke one. All right, so then after you go through this technique, okay, that I just showed you, you look at that cigarette again and you think, oh, how much do I want it now? And typically what happens is you'll see it drop down a few units. It might be now went from a 9 down to a 6 or something like that, okay, or 5. And sometimes I've had to go all the way down, well, I don't want it at all. And so I said, well, you need to use this technique now that you can go home. Use this technique at home every time you have the desire to smoke, and do it. But I usually have them do it the times when they've typically smoked, if you can find the cue for that. Okay. So anyway, if you listen to this and you're trying to do this on your own, again, you want to look at the cigarette, see if you can really bring up the desire for it, and then use this tapping technique along with this positive phrasing that I mentioned, and do that and see if you can start reducing that desire for the cigarette. You may find it to be quite helpful to you. And again, it's for more information regarding this, it's Gary Craig. You can look online at www.emofree.com. And I really want to give the credit to him for doing this. This is just the way I have learned to use it, and after years of being in this practice. But anyway, I hope it's very helpful to you. And remember, give up the things that aren't good for you, and don't put anything in your mouth that's not beneficial. This is Dr. Mark Cooper, and I'll talk to you another time.